Good evening, and thank you for joining us for our second night. Last night, you heard about how Hannah leads by listening to those around her and her values. With that said, Hannah plans to do more than that. She wants to establish those deep emotive connections with those around her, whether that's in the 3rd District and beyond. This is how Hannah aims to implement those values and vision into her platform and to engage in the right now. She'll work hard as well as what she plans to do when she's elected. Tonight you'll hear from colleagues, local business owners, as well as Hannah's partner, Andy.
We're in an economic recession, and local businesses are crucial to our city's economy. They need all the help and support that we can give right now and always. Because of disruptions from the current pandemic, many local companies and their employees are struggling now more than ever. As your council member, I will advocate for small business however I can, working to direct federal aid, provide relief, and offer all the support we can give. Investing locally is the key to retaining and attracting talent, building our tax base, and developing a resilient economy.
My name's Sarah, and I'm a local business owner in downtown Lexington, and I support Hannah for council. After talking a lot with Hannah and getting to know her as a local business owner, I am fully confident that she understands the value of local business, not just as a fun place to go, but a lot for the economy, for tourism, and just generally what makes Lexington great. She supports local business, and she knows a lot of the owners, which is very important. And Hannah also has the experience in working in the community, living here, working and volunteering with nonprofits, and understanding what really makes Lexington what it is and how it is unique. Things that Lexington may need more of, things that we maybe don't need. You can only really understand the value of that when you work within the community and get to know the members in that community. And Hannah has that experience and knowledge of that, which is very important for a council member. So I fully support her in that aspect. Also, as a member of the LGBTQ community in Lexington, Hannah understands the value of safety for our community, services that are important to us, but things we need just as a general population, regardless of identity. And that is very, very important for the overall community in Lexington. So with this, I fully support and endorse Hannah for council.
Hi, my name is Diala Samadi, and I am a second-year medical student at UK College of Medicine. I've known Hannah LeGris for about 7 years now, and I'm very excited to get to share with you a little bit about how I know her and what type of person she is, and hopefully encourage you to vote for her in the upcoming election. So I've known Hannah for the past 7 years in several capacities. First, as her student in Honors 100, which is an introductory course for Singletary scholars, later as a co-instructor, and now as a friend. And as her student, Hannah really encouraged me to get to know my community, and she was so invested in my growth. She was personally invested in my growth, my peers' growth, and the growth of hundreds of students at UK. And I think that is really valuable, her commitment to us, her consistent commitment to us, and our growth. One of my favorite memories from this class is these monthly dinners that Hannah hosted, where she would invite somebody from our community to come talk about their experiences and talk about what leadership and engagement meant to them. And this was such a beautiful experience, and it was one of the things that connected me with my community and led me to volunteer and later be on the board of directors of a local retirement home called Ashland Terrace. And I'm very grateful for Hannah and that she connected me. And later on, when I became a co-instructor for this class, I got the behind the scenes of it, and I started to really understand who Hannah was and understand what commitment looked like to her and what growth looked like to her and what intention meant to Hannah. And those things really took on a new meaning when I saw everything that it took to run this course, and how being able to host these monthly dinners was based on years of experience and years of getting to know Lexington and making deep connections with its roots. And Hannah had really been committed to that, to be able to host those dinners. And I know it sounds simple, but it really wasn't. And I think it shows how committed she was for a long period of time, and how that commitment led to growth. And now as a friend, Hannah and I keep up every now and then, and I really appreciate having her in my life. And I'm really thankful because I know she's still committed to me. And, even though I'm not taking her class, even though I'm not co-instructing, I will always consider Hannah as an important part of my life. She is somebody who I admire, and I love her values. She's so intentional, passionate, and community geared. You can really count on her to make your community better. And I have seen it with my own two eyes, and I hope that you get to too. Well, thank you for listening, and I really hope that you cast your vote for Hannah LeGris this upcoming election. Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Susie Smith. I first met Hannah as a freshman at the University of Kentucky. She was my advisor as a Singletary Scholar, so her job description included advising me on the classes that I needed to take, making sure that I met my graduation requirements, all of this based on my interest and goals, and maybe sometimes we would talk about what I wanted to do in the future. I ended up going to Hannah for so much more than that. She has this unique ability to really bring out everything inside a person. She cares about where you came from, what you're interested in, what you're curious about, what you're worried about, what you want to do, what really gets you going in the morning, and what makes you want to learn in class. And we talked about all of those things way more than we ever talked about what classes I was going to take in the spring semester. I went to her for advice on the purpose of my life, advice on the philosophy of everything happening around me on campus, off campus, in my local community, in the federal government as a whole. I talked to Hannah about anything and everything on my mind, and she always listened, and she always made me feel like I was understood, that I was heard, that I was important. She connects students to the community on campus, but also off campus. As a Singletary Scholar, you're required to do a community service project, and that could have ended up many ways, but because Hannah was leading that charge, we also had to learn about a philosophy of community service. Hannah cares deeply about the Lexington community as a whole, and she taught us the history and how to serve in an authentic, genuine, and responsible way before we ever stepped into a community to do something. That kind of logic and philosophy and approach to not only her personal relationships, but also our community relationships are the same way that she will approach a council position. There's not anyone that I trust more to be on the council than Hannah because of the way that she listens to understand and then work together towards a goal.
Like it or not, we're all connected to our neighbors. During times of disaster and hardship, however, we rely on our local communities more than ever. Right now, we need leaders who are committed to delivering real solutions for our city. Over the years, Lexington has made great strides with human rights, but we must work to increase services and protections that benefit everyone within our city. We have seen with Black Lives Matter protests and all of the accountability that's been asked for within our government that there's more to be done in terms of policy and best practices. I will work to cut through barriers of age, class, race, sexual orientation, and status to help connect people and find common ground so that we can address the challenges that face us as a society today, tomorrow, and beyond. We have the opportunity to secure trans healthcare benefits for municipal employees, to create more diverse and inclusive public spaces like Tandy Centennial Park, and to protect our youth from bullying and conversion therapy. As your city council member, I am committed to making Lexington safer and more accommodating for everyone, regardless and inclusive of their identities.
Hey everyone, my name is Hannah Iqbal and I'm a second-year medical student at the University of Kentucky College of Medicine. But if there is one thing you should know about me, it is that I will be a personal cheerleader for Hannah till the day I die, because I truly owe so much of my development as a learner, as a person, as a student to her. She is someone who I met as a freshman through the Singletary Scholars Program. And when she was directing it, we met on a bi-weekly basis, and a lot of our class sessions required us to be very vulnerable and very courageous and to develop a sense of voice. Because one thing that we did was we really assessed how we engage with our communities and whether our engagements are really truly helpful, or if they really aren't. And that's something that we grappled with. That's something that we engaged with. She also invited a number of community members and leaders from the Lexington community to come to class and share their experiences on how they get engaged and why, and what kinds of issues that they face and where they draw their strength from, which often was from other people in the community. So one thing that Hannah really taught me was that no person is an island. I think, Thomas Merton, Kentuckian, I'd like to say we'll just go ahead and claim Thomas Merton for ourselves, right? But that's something that she really honed in on, is that no person exists in an isolated bubble. We are all drawing our strength from each other, and we all have certain weaknesses, but when we come together, we can face those in very creative and unique and new ways in order to really build each other up. And I think that's the one thing that was so significant about her class. And it's something that comes across as soon as you meet her. And it's something that has, really maintained our relationship, really been a common theme maintained throughout our relationship over the past few years since we first met. She's also someone who, and I really owe this to her, is she's someone who is really invested in you. She is really invested in making sure that you remember who you are. As tacky as that sounds, it's so easy to forget why you're here and why you're doing what you're doing and what your purpose is. And she's someone who reminds you of that. And she's reminded me on so many occasions also, especially when life has gotten difficult or studies have gotten really difficult. So I think that she is someone who people can draw strength from. And she is someone who's so energized and ready to give her strength to the Lexington community. I cannot think of anyone better to serve in the role that she's seeking as district council member. I truly cannot. And I think that if you meet her and you get to know her, it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. She is a community member and leader through and through. And I'm so excited to be able to support her in this way. And I wish her the best of luck in all of her endeavors, including this one. And I know that she is someone who is going to keep on serving her community in whatever ways she finds possible, because that's just who she is. Hannah's an incredible person. So again, my name's Hannah Iqbal, medical student at UK, and a huge and avid supporter of Hannah and all that she does.
I know Hannah because she was actually one of my academic advisors for many years in college, and I also had her in a class freshman year. And throughout my time in college, Hannah provided me with invaluable support in every aspect of my education and my life. She connected me with local nonprofits that she knew I would love based on my specific interests. She pushed me to apply for programs that I didn't believe that I could get into. And she truly just believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself. I knew I could turn to Hannah when I needed support or advice on any little thing, anything from, a specific instance to my larger life goals. And she always knew me and the Lexington community well enough to steer me towards something great. Hannah cares deeply about the people and the community around her, and I think the city council would be lucky to have her. I know that I've always walked away from Hannah feeling like a better version of myself, and I'm sure that she'd have the same impact on Lexington.
Hey, Lexington. Okay, so I'm here today to talk to y'all about a very important job that we have to do. These are really incredible times. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of heartache. What we need to do is we need to channel all of that energy that I believe is born in from the fundamental human desire to be seen and heard and listened to. We need to channel all of that energy to the ballot box. Even more conveniently today, we need to channel that energy to the mailbox by requesting an absentee ballot, filling it out, and getting it back to our clerk's office. We have an election coming up, the primary on June 23rd, and then the general in November. So that's what I'm here to talk to you about, the importance of voting. Specifically, they say all politics is local. I have decided to participate and be as involved as possible in a seat that is very personal and local to me. I live in the 3rd District in Lexington, so I'm here to talk about the candidate that I am supporting for the 3rd District, and that is Hannah LeGris for District 3. I like Hannah because she has that thing when you meet her, you know it. It's just that thing that you can't pretend that you have. She's an authentic human being. She's creative. She's vivacious. She's a thinker. I think in times like this, although I don't think we've ever been in a time quite like this before, but in trying times in general, there's a tendency or a temptation to kind of hunker down and be as safe as possible and try and get back to normal or normal, back to the way that things used to be. I just don't think that that's possible. What I'm looking for in a leader, and that the thing that I think Hannah has in spades, is I want somebody who can think outside of the box. I want somebody that has the ability to not only invite, but encourage differing opinions, to weigh all perspectives before making a decision. I want somebody that can truly listen, that is true to themselves and committed to the job. That is Hannah LeGris. Totally. She's an amazing human being. And what I would encourage you to do is to get to know her. I think that is our responsibility. These leaders step up and they represent us. So what we can do to make sure that we get the leaders there that we want is that we can do our research and we can find out who they are. Reach out to her team. One of the best markers of a great leader is their ability to assemble an amazing team. I have so enjoyed my conversations with all of them, and they've all been so available and so accessible to answer my questions. You do the same. Look her up. Her website's amazing. She's on Facebook. She's having weekly chats with community members that are interesting and enlightening, and you can participate in them. It is so important, guys. We have got to do this. We have got to show up, not just in the primary, but in the general, and we have got to participate. We have to channel all of that energy to the ballot box. We have to stand up and take responsibility for our part in this. If we want to be seen and heard and listened to, we need to elect leaders that will see us, hear us, and listen to us. I hope you're safe. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you will vote for Hannah LeGris, District 3, and that you will do your research on all of your candidates and make sure you vote in the primary on June 23rd and then again in the general. Thank you so much.
When a community commissions a monument, they're making an artistic statement of value about what should be remembered. Unfortunately, there are far too few monuments in the United States recognizing the contributions of women. And it's past time for that number to change. I'm a practicing writer, and my mother's an artist, and I understand the power of art to bring people together, increase vibrancy, and improve entrepreneurship. I believe that support for the arts helps connect the community, and it should be supported like any other investment. We need to develop and expand Lexington's reputation as a creative city. And if elected, I will advocate for partnerships, opportunities, and zoning to promote the arts. Through smart investments, I know that we can realize that vision of Lexington as an arts hub and create inclusive, meaningful spaces for creative expression.
Hello, my name is Andrew Stith, and I'm Hannah's partner. I first met Hannah over 10 years ago, and in that time I've learned a lot about her character. I remember when she first decided to put down roots in Lexington, and I've seen her over the years as she's built relationships and become a more active member of the community. There's a lot of things that I admire and appreciate about Hannah, but the quality that I respect the most, the thing that I think is most relevant to this moment, is her integrity. Throughout the time that I've known Hannah, I've seen her at work, where she educates and mentors students at the university and teaches them to be more engaged with the world around them, to her personal life, where she maintains her connections to the artistic community and volunteers at the International Book Project, and during the course of this campaign, where she's reached out to people in the community and listened to their concerns and demonstrated her leadership abilities. And the common theme is that Hannah is always working to hold herself to the highest standards. And that's not to say that she never makes mistakes, because she does occasionally, but Hannah's always working to improve herself. And I think that's relevant because right now in our society we are very polarized, and there isn't a lot of trust, and people are looking to their elected leaders for answers. But it doesn't matter how good your ideas are if you aren't able to build relationships and to carry yourself with the level of respect and integrity worthy of the office. And to me, that's the definition of being a public servant. So I know that Hannah has the intelligence, and she has the ideas, and she has the connections in order to be an outstanding public servant. But the thing that really distinguishes her, the thing that I think makes her unique, is that she has a level of integrity unlike anyone else I've ever met. And so I hope that everyone who watches this video gets a chance to speak with Hannah, gets a chance to interact with her, because I think that that character comes out immediately. And for that reason, I think she would be an outstanding city council representative. So thanks for your time, thanks for listening, and I hope everyone out there stays safe.
So glad that Hannah LeGris is running. That was an applause line there. And so many of you all who are here tonight, friends, neighbors, so many of you who are here tonight know Hannah and know of her passion, know of her commitment, know of what she has done, not only in her role at UK, but throughout our community, in her neighborhood, all across that spectrum. You know what she has done. And I will tell you that from having been in the job of city council, and I'm about to introduce parenthetically, I will say Deborah Hensley, who will really talk about this district. I said parenthetically, but having been in the role of a city council member, it takes that kind of commitment. And that's what Hannah has shown in so many ways. I once had the chance to visit with one of her classes at UK. And I got the chance to talk to her students. And the students were the ones who shared with me what they thought about Hannah. And of course, Dan Rowland, you know what that means, because they said, we love Hannah. And you can't get any better than that. Now, before I introduce Deborah, I'm going to say one other thing, that she has many skill sets. And the time that I've known her, the very first time that I feel like I met her, I knew that she was exceptional. I knew that she was extraordinary. But among her many skills is one of, frankly, matchmaker. Erin and James, friends of Eric. She introduced Eric and me. So, that is I'm Jim Gray, and I am really excited to be able to share with you some thoughts about my friend Hannah LeGris. I met Hannah 12 years ago. Can't believe it, but I met her 12 years ago, and it was at an event for the Women's Writers Conference, Kentucky Women's Writers Conference. And immediately, I sensed that this young woman has a lot of energy. And over time, I came to recognize that Hannah is well read, and she's thoughtful, and she has a lot of energy that's focused on community. I learned that she, as a teacher at the university, her students, I was always so impressed that her students just really, really love her. And that says a lot. That says so much about someone who's committed to teaching. So when I think about public service, having been there myself, I think about 3 words. I think about character and commitment and courage. And you think about those three words, and they really do represent Hannah LeGris in every dimension of her personality and herself. And I would add another word to that, and that's compassion. She has compassion, and that's what public service, especially in these polarizing times, that's what public service is all about. And I also think about the 3rd District and all of the incredibly talented people in the 3rd District and the diversity of the 3rd District and the legacy of council members like Deborah Hensley and like the late Jake Gibbs. These are people that Hannah has always looked up to, and that she will not just, I would say, follow in the footsteps of, but when Hannah has the opportunity to seek and plan ahead and seek a vision, she'll go and she'll follow not just in the footsteps, but she'll create new paths. And that's what we all need in a Lexington that we want to continue to have promise and possibility. Thanks.